sink in. I love his expression there. The Chiefs gave him a 10-year contract extension worth up to $503 million. It surpasses the previous record set by the Anaheim Angels. Their star, Mike Trout, who signed a $426.5 million deal last season. So Mahomes' new deal will keep him in KC through the 2031 season. He is the fourth active player in the four major pro sports in North America to be under contract into the 2030s. Only Bryce Harper's deal, though, is longer through 2032. His average annual value, $45 million per season, which is the highest average annual value in NFL history, surpassing Russell Wilson, who's making $35 million a year. Mahomes would be the second highest paid player per year in American team sports behind Damian Lillard at 49. With Mahomes set to make $45 per season, there are 7 NFL teams who don't have a player with at least $45 million in guaranteed money on their current contracts. Those teams are the Bills, Bengals, Chargers, Giants, Jaguars, Patriots, and the Ravens. Mahomes making a lot of money, but he's very grateful. Here he is today.
It's an exciting time. I'm just glad that I get to continue building this legacy in Kansas City. Obviously, with everything going on in the world with COVID and all this different stuff, to have this security to go into the community and be able to give back. I can't wait to not only build this legacy on the field, but off of it. And I'm excited for the future ahead for not only me, but the Kansas City Chiefs and the communities that have brought me up so far. The Chiefs organization, like I said earlier, I mean, Coach Reid, Brett Veach, Mark Donovan, Clark Hunt, everybody. I mean, it's been a team effort the entire way. And I think that's the special thing about this organization is that, like Veach said, there's trust amongst everybody. As much as I trust in them, they trust in me. And we were able to go out there and get this contract done the right way that not only gives me the security that I've always wanted, but also allows opportunity for the team to be great around me the entire duration of my career. And I have full trust that things will get handled the right way as we go throughout this career, and that we will be in a position to win a lot of football games and hopefully win a lot more championships as my career goes on. And look, I mean, you can't, there's no offense, you can't do this with every single organization, but when you have an organization with the stability and the culture that we have in the Chiefs organization, I felt very comfortable and had a lot of trust that I could do a contract like this, knowing that we were going to have that same stability by the time I'm at the end of that contract.
All right, so his deal set a new benchmark for all quarterbacks looking for a big payday. Again, $45 million annually. It'll be $10 million more than any other player in league history. And get this, including incentives, the $503 million over 10 years means Mahomes could be bringing in nearly $138,000 per day through the end of this deal, 2031. Here is his boss, head coach Andy Reid, earlier today.
Listen, all in all, I think it's a great thing. Very seldom do you come out of a deal and go, you know what, it's a win-win. It's a win for the player. It's also a win for the team, the organization. And so I'm one happy guy. I put on my best Tommy Bahama for all of you today, just to celebrate this, man. This is a big day, and it's an awesome thing.
When you talk about Pat Mahomes, you're talking about somebody that is one of the best players, arguably like LeBron James, like Tom Brady. And when you're speaking about dynasties, I think it's possibly his time to, win 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 Super Bowls. So that's the guy that I put my trust in, man. I'm out on the field flying, running around, do whatever I need to do to go out there and make the plays that I need to make for him.
NFL front office insider Mike Tannenbaum joins me now live with more on Mahomes' extension. And Mike, longtime GM in the league, you spent a lot of time negotiating deals. So take us through how a deal that could be worth more than $500 million actually be team-friendly for the Chiefs.
Sage, look at what Patrick Mahomes just said. He wants to keep that core of the team together. And when you look at his cap numbers, especially early in the deal, this year and next year, remarkably, from a salary cap ranking of quarterbacks, he's 30th this year, and he only goes up to 12th next year. And to put that into context, let's focus in on 3 players. Chris Jones, who's franchised this year. They have plenty of room to sign him now. And then next year's players like Sammy Watkins, and then the year after Travis Kelce, they have a better chance to keep those 3 players because those cap numbers are lower in the first couple of years of this deal. So Patrick Mahomes, to his credit, really did what he said, which is he wants to keep the core together. And because of those low cap numbers, they have a chance to do that.
So it really seems like everybody wins with this deal. He's the reigning Super Bowl MVP. We all know how good he is. But in your mind, Mike, what makes Patrick Mahomes different than any of the other high-priced quarterbacks that we've seen?
You know, Sage, this is like the perfect storm. You look at his age, he's going to be 25 years old. He's already won a Super Bowl. He's only lost 8 games in his career, and they've all been by 1 score. And maybe most importantly, his skill set, it fits where the modern NFL game is going. We all talk about his arm strength, and he can make every throw, Sage, but it's what he can do with his feet, buy time, get out of harm's way, put pressure on defenses. So it's the perfect storm. He checks every box, and Kansas City is really lucky to have him.
We heard Sammy Watkins sound kind of like Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. 3, 4, 5 potential championships. No pressure whatsoever in Kansas City, but everybody seemingly winning with this deal. Mike Tannenbaum, thank you.
23 days away from the NBA returning to action, we've got big news. Wizards all-star guard Bradley Beal has opted out of the NBA restart due to a rotator cuff injury. Before the season was put on hold, Beal was having the best year of his career, averaging 30 points per game.
He took care of it the best he could during this time, but when you go from really zero activity to where we got to ramp up and get ready for NBA games in less than 3 weeks, you know, the very, very last thing we want to do is predispose him to injury. He's worked religiously to get this thing back to where it feels right, and it just hasn't felt right. And it's not something that we're looking at that it's going to be a long-term problem, not at all. But wisdom would tell you if it's bothering him right now, let's not go out there and try to do anything that's going to hinder his future.
NBA teams are set to begin traveling to Orlando today as training camps have a scheduled start on July 11th as his Rockets get ready. 69-year-old head coach Mike D'Antoni says he hasn't heard about alternative options for older coaches, and he plans to go to Orlando.
I assume, and maybe I shouldn't assume anything in this world, but I'm going to Orlando. I haven't heard one way or the other. I don't have any apprehension. I'll have my mask on. Everybody around me will have a mask on, or I won't be around them. That's one. 2, I won't be within 6 feet of anybody. We have guys getting tested. And if you are personally responsible and do now, could it happen? Sure. It could happen. I could leave here. It could happen. I have no apprehension because I know what I'll do to try to prevent it. And I know the NBA is going to try to do everything they can to avoid it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
This past weekend, the Bucks closed their practice facility. It was not immediately clear if there was more than one positive test, but Milwaukee plans to keep its facility closed until the team's traveling party departs on Thursday for the league's restart. Head coach Mike Budenholzer.
I think for just, shutting the facility down, it's just the wise thing to do is we prepare to head to Orlando. And, I think it's important that we get there as healthy and clean as possible. And by doing this for these few days prior to leaving, feel like it's going to give us our best chance to get to Orlando in a good place.
So 6 teams arrive in Orlando today as we are a little over 3 weeks away from that NBA restart. The depleted Wizards are reporting today, as are teams right ahead of them in the standings, including the Magic and the Nets. NBA reporter Malika Andrews is embedded in the Orlando bubble and joins us now on SportsCenter. So, Malika, the Nuggets are one of those teams arriving today. Nikola Jokic tested positive for COVID-19 in late June. What's the status of the All-Star joining his team in Orlando?
Yeah, Kevin. So while the Denver Nuggets are traveling to Orlando today, Nikola Jokic is not making the trip with the team yet. According to a memo that was sent out to teams and that I obtained a copy of, any player or person who has tested positive since the league started mandating testing a couple of weeks ago must be cleared by a medical professional before he is allowed to travel with the team. Now, Nikola Jokic, while the team is saying he is recovering well, his case is a little bit more complicated because when he tested positive, he was back home in Serbia. So not only does he need to test positive twice back there, he must also test positive twice in the United States before he can make the trip.
We saw the graphic. I mentioned 6 teams arriving today. The other 16 teams are scheduled to arrive this week. What's the league doing to ensure everybody's safety here?
Well, in addition to the health and safety protocol, they are supplementing that with a whole lot of technical technology. So every single morning, we're asked to take a pulse oximeter reading. That's this device right here, in addition to our temperature. And then we enter that data into an app. And so what then happens is when we go to head into the arena or head into a practice facility, this magic band that I am wearing here gets scanned. And if it gets scanned and it lights up green, that means that data that we put in, it's healthy. We are healthy. If it lights up blue, then people need to take another look to see if we are perhaps exhibiting symptoms like the temperature we entered was a fever. And another device we're supposed to be getting within the next week is a sensor that is going to start to beep if you are within 6 feet of another person for 10 seconds. So first, after 5 seconds, it will start lighting up a color, and then after